Let's get something clear. Fresh Out the Slammer is the heart of the Tortured Poets department. It's a key song that, once you understand it, you realize why the Muses are intertwined in this album. Here, I'll explain its meaning, and its connection to You Are in Love. What should have been a sunny summer feels like a storm instead, like trouble in paradise. Here, Taylor talks about her previous relationship. Over time, she no longer feels understood. What was once a safe place from the world became a relationship slowly dying, with her and her muse growing more distant. She explains this in several songs, like You're Losing Me, The Great War, Bejeweled, and others. How can you say that you love someone you can't tell is dying? All Too Pinks. This paints a picture of a fractured relationship. Silent dinners say so much about the growing distance between them, and it personally reminds me of the Eras tour when Taylor performed Tolerate It. By winter, the relationship had reached a breaking point. It was December 5, 2021 when Taylor wrote You're Losing Me, a song about a relationship she knows can't be saved. In it, she expresses frustration with her partner, who seems oblivious to the fact that their relationship is falling apart. She's torn between holding on to what they've built together or letting it go. But she knows she can't keep starting over again and again. And the word bitter? Bitter from the weight of being Taylor's boyfriend? The rumors about their life? The lack of privacy? The pressure? Maybe even professional jealousy? And don't be shocked, but Joe never liked being asked about Taylor. Remember during the Eras tour when Taylor performed Peace and made that gesture? Was he dreaming of someone else, or was it just her fear? It's not the first time Taylor has hinted at another woman. She does it in The Great War when she says, maybe it was her. And in So Long London, she sings,
Found at the club she's heard great things about.
Also, do you remember when Taylor sang Should Have Said No as a surprise song and made this gesture? I'll leave this here slowly and keep going. Here, Taylor starts to talk about how the relationship begins to fall apart. She often uses colors like gray and blue to represent sadness and loss in her songs. And in many songs about Joe, she refers to him as blue. She also uses other metaphors to describe his inner struggles, like depression, that they had to work through to stay together. And Fights in Tunnels makes me think of Cornelia Street, where she was ready to leave, but before reaching the tunnel, they managed to reconcile. There's a rumor that Taylor and Joe had an on and off relationship, which is reflected in songs like Glitch, Labyrinth, and even LOML. It's unclear if they really broke up completely or just took breaks, but they definitely weren't always together. When a relationship goes through a tough phase, people often hold on to the good moments, no matter how few they are. The spell could refer to when we hold on to a relationship because of the time we've invested in it. In Taylor's case, maybe it's her holding to a relationship where she didn't just invest time, but dreams of moving on to other stages in life. Also, there's the scrutiny she would face after ending her most stable relationship. All Too Pinks. I can't stop thinking about this video. In the shade of how he was feeling about her life, which is public, hectic, and everyone wants to know about it. Like Taylor says in How Did It End?
He was a hothouse flower to my outdoorsman.
He was more reserved and introverted, while she was, and is, one of the most famous women in the world. So she adapted to him, living in another country, being more private, going out less in public, accepting that he didn't want to be associated with her so he'd be taken seriously in his profession. So, she took a step back. And maybe that's what she needed at the time, that privacy. She had just been the victim of the 2016 hate train, where she was cancelled online and by the media. But we need to remember that this hate train happened in 2016. By 2017, she released Reputation, and by 2018, she was on the Reputation Stadium tour. Then in 2019, she released Lover. And by 2022, being hidden wasn't something she wanted anymore. It doesn't seem like something Taylor, who's been working on her career since she was 16, would want forever. And we can see this reflected in songs like Bejeweled, where she wonders if she can still shine, if there's still a pop star in her. Yes, celebrities can have private lives separate from their work, but there's definitely a difference between private and secret. This relationship was private, but sometimes he acted like it was a secret, as if no one should know about it. In my opinion, that was a bit extreme, especially considering Swifties were used to this dynamic. They weren't asking for as much as people might think. Don't believe me? Joe didn't show up during the first weeks of the Eras tour, and all the Swifties believed the articles saying it was because of work. No one was harassing him or expecting anything. In fact, when the breakup news came out, it was a complete surprise. While the media did ask a couple of questions about Taylor, sure, maybe 1 out of 10, it's not like they weren't used to him not saying anything. So, the relationship ended. She did her time. This is where Fresh Out of the Slammer can easily have two meanings. One more general and one more specific. I'm running back home to you, to who she really is, to her own life, to the career she built. But it can also be interpreted as Taylor running toward a new love. And we all know that after breaking up with Joe, Taylor briefly dated Maddie Healy. They have history dating back to 2014, crossing paths several times and having a situationship that remained unfinished over the years. Taylor returns to the spotlight, public outings, and realizes this is her life, and she knows how to handle it. This is reflected in part of her interview with Time, where she talks about going on adventures and being out more. And she tosses the ashes of a relationship that's over. If we dive into the Tortured Poets Department lore from How Did It End, Taylor describes this relationship as an autopsy. So, it all makes sense. In this new and any future relationships, Taylor will no longer hide. She wasn't going to have another relationship that private because, again, as she told Time magazine, it takes a lot of effort. You have to go to an extreme amount of effort to make sure no one knows that you're seeing someone. She wanted to be with her muse, and well, her friends probably noticed the new muse wasn't the one for her. And since we all know how the story ended, her friends and even the Hannahs and Sarahs kind of had a point. Taylor is referring to how she might have written songs or maybe just a few lines inspired by him during all this time. But I just want to clarify something. I'm not a fan of how Maddie fans listen to Taylor's discography once and start rewriting the narrative. Yes, Taylor might have alluded to Maddie in a couple of songs, but saying things like Style is about Maddie or Cornelia Street is about Maddie, like, let's not force it. Taylor had a life before and after that fling in 2014, and you can't erase her other relationships just to fit your narrative. Now Taylor runs back to the person she wants to be with, the one who waited for her and kept all those promises despite the passage of time. She's going back to where things were left unfinished, to try again with this new muse. But this time, she knows what she wants in her life and what to expect in a relationship. American Dreams is a nod to Maddie Healy. He's British, and he has a song called She's American. Oh, you know, let's not lie to ourselves here. Wearing imaginary rings means all those promises they made when they were younger about being together. The song, which starts with a Western-inspired melody, takes you on a journey that ends with a soft tune reminiscent of You Are in Love. Fresh Out the Slammer is about ending a failed relationship, learning from it, accepting that it didn't work despite the effort, and moving on. Songs like Tolerate It, You're Losing Me, The Great War, and Renegade show the struggle to save the relationship. In Peace, she admits she can't control her fame and wonders if what she can offer is enough. She even tried to adapt to the idea their relationship didn't have to be more serious, like in Lavender Haze. And in So Long London, Taylor makes it clear there was nothing left to save. A relationship takes two. If only one person is willing to change, the other just dims their light, like she explains in Bejeweled. And as we all know how the story ended, it's a song about heartbreak, love, and self-love. And it perfectly captures why these two muses are part of the tortured poets department. Here's more stories behind Taylor's songs. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to cover the story behind your favorite song. Bye.